Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? My name is Active, and this is HCS Source episode number 7. We've got a lot of things to talk about today, and one of those things definitely being the Super, the HCS Super that I got a pleasure to cast, as well as Tony here with me. And, speaking of Tony, why don't you intro yourself real quick?
Yo, what's up, guys? Why not be reckless, aka why not be casting? I'm kind of a freaking big deal. If you don't know, now you know.
Let's go. Always starting off the show with big energy. We've got to talk about this Super. This is this was a crazy Super, man. There's a lot of stuff on the line, and you know what? Teams came to play. You can see it right there in front of you. We're looking at the final results, and we'll quickly go through these. All right, we'll quickly go through these results here. But first place, Optic Gaming, $45,000, and on top of that, the very important 15,000 points as well. And then, out of absolutely nowhere, we got G1, $27,500, placing second place. No one expected it, but we'll talk about that. Sentinels in third, Cloud9 in fourth, G2, United, fifth and sixth, Pioneers top 8, and FaZe Clan top 8, which I'm very surprised about, actually. Pulled out all the stops when they needed to. But Tony, let's start off by going through the pools here a little bit and just kind of talking about, all the pools, and I know we had some predictions as well, and in all of that sort of thing, but what do you think about these pools? I mean, obviously, let's start with Pool A. Actually, let's start with Pool A. What do you think about Pool A for this tournament? How they performed, etc.
I think Pool A was great. I mean, obviously you have Sentinels that went 3-0. No real surprise there. United going 2-1, which I think were the favorites going into that matchup. To get second place. They did end up going to game 5 with Complexity, which in my opinion was the only team that could put a real fight up against United, who ended up their pools 1 and 2. And then you have Native Gaming, that roster with Kratos and the boys, and that squad actually ended up 0-3 to start off pool. So not the best bet for them. Native Gaming even making a roster change even after the tournament goes. Was really excited to watch the Kratos versus Spectre. There was a little bit of beef there, and I mean I will say they took them to game 5. But eventually United finished off 2-1. Native Gaming finished off 0-3. So it wasn't the exact ending we wanted to see with the Kratos versus Spectre drama. But I'm hoping we see some more of that later on.
Well, to be honest with you, Native, speaking of Native Gaming, actually picked up the 3 of them. But guess who they didn't pick up? Kratos. They left him in the dust. Kratos has not been picked up by Native Gaming. So it's going to be King J, Mines, correct? Refresh me here, Tony. King J, Mines, and
Piggy,
the insane Piggy.
They were running with Huss, formerly of Torrent at one point, which I believe Piggy even had like a 1-week stint with Torrent where they played like a random open series together or something, or maybe like a pro series together.
Okay.
So they were running with him more recent. I don't know if they're gonna pick him up as a permanent, if they're running with some more options, but I do know at some point Huss was running with the squad.
Yeah, I mean we don't have a lot of time. All right, take a look at your clocks. We got about a month and a half, and to be honest with you, you don't have a clock on your wrist, Tony. Okay, you don't freaking have a clock on your. To be honest with you though, a lot of teams are grinding already. Actually tweeted at Spartan today. And he had said that we need a scrim, and I'm going to delete soon. I'm like, whoa, okay, a scrim? And he's like, yeah. He's like, we got to grind. He replied and said, we got to grind and get ready for Orlando, which is obvious, right? But a lot of teams are stepping on right away, like a 1 to 2 day break, and everyone's already grinding. So, yeah, I mean, that Pool A was pretty solid. Not many surprises. I think United played really well. I think they had a really good showing. Really impressed with how they kind of gelled. I didn't expect it. I expected them to be outside of the top 6, to be honest with you. And I mean, I expected them to play way worse. I didn't expect them to gel at all. United, wow. Yeah. I didn't. Did you really expect them to play? I mean, I know Manny's a disgusting player, And I know you keep harping on me about the KCP thing. Go ahead. I mean, let it out. You know you want to do it. Yeah. So Tony, I'm gonna talk for him. Tony's been busting my butt because I had Pioneers in 4th on my prediction, but they didn't make a little Pioneers thing, so I couldn't put them in 4th, so I put FaZe there instead, and then had G2 as my wild card in my predictions. But I was very wrong, and to Tony's point, he tried to talk me out of it, and he was right. I mean, when you get beat by G2, but Pioneers had like these sparks of greatness, which I love to see out of the squad. But let's move on to Pool B here. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Cloud9, Oxygen Esports, FaZe Clan, and Ynot. Cloud9 ripping through their pool. And I had said this, they didn't drop a game, right, Tony? They had said they didn't drop a map. They didn't drop a map all tournament long up until that winner's bracket. And they looked really strong. But I kept saying, if you look at Pool B and Pool A is a little bit tougher, right? If you look at it. And Sentinels did drop 2 maps. They didn't drop any series, but they dropped 2 maps. So Cloud9 really looked pretty good, but then kind of got exposed. What do you think of Cloud9's performance towards the end there? Like, definitely wasn't expecting G1 to just pile through them like that.
Well, I mean, Cloud9 played great in pool play. I mean, like I said, finishing off undefeated, getting their revenge on Renegade for leaving and jumping a ship over towards FaZe. I think Cloud9 were playing great. I was really enjoying watching Bound fit into the roster. Just like you said, G1 did get the best of them, but G1 got the best of many teams, including sweeping Sentinels in that losers bracket finals. G1 were running hot, and the way they were playing, there wasn't many that could beat them in that tournament. They were just playing that good. I still like what I saw from Cloud9. If you expect them to go back-to-back LAN champions, I think you're gonna be a little upset. But I think they're still the favorites to come out in top 3. I could see them getting top 3 at Orlando. Okay. I could see them getting top 3 at Worlds, and I could even see them making a grand finals winning. I think that might be tough, but I can definitely see them top 3 making grand finals. Then from there, it's anybody's game. So I really enjoyed watching Cloud9 in this tournament. Really happy that they beat out FaZe Clan again, getting their revenge on Renegade. Even Oxygen Esports absolutely showing off, not only beating FaZe, but also beating Ynot. And you had 3 highly motivated players formerly of that Oxygen Esports roster, and I think Oxygen really played well.
Oxygen did look really well. Another team that looked really well, really solid, was EXO, which was very interesting to me until they played G2, and then they just kind of fell apart. I actually was able to kind of sneak in, and their comms sounded very hectic. And I was talking to Bid Teaches during the tournament, trying to get some intel. He said they don't respect any team, which, I mean, to be honest with you, it's tough when you face up against G2, and that's another thing I always got to bring it up is the mentality. Like, you have to respect people. It's good to have that confidence, but at the same time, I think that confidence kind of throws you off a little bit. And one thing I loved about G2 and something I love about them going into Orlando is just the pure fact that Callus said this: every game that we play is just practice at this point. Win or lose, we're just taking it and we're going to review it. We're going to get better. That is such a good, and they made it so far with very little practice. Barcode looked disgusting. But yes, I will say Oxygen looked really, really good. Pioneers 3-0'd them in the elimination bracket and went on to fight G2. G2 also 3-0'd EXO. But that Pioneers G2 series was pretty one-sided. I think Barcode kind of took over. Previously, they went to a game 5, these two guys, and Pioneers squeaked out a win by 1 kill on Catalyst Slayer. But I mean, out of like the teams that did not make it potentially in the top 8, like for instance, let's talk about Space Station. I want to talk about Space Station, and then I kind of want to go back and speak about G2 again with Barcode. But let's switch gears to Space Station here.
Okay. Over to Pool D. Okay.
Yeah. Right. So well, just real quick, because I'm looking at the elim bracket right now. I just kind of want to talk about how they once again came out really strong, and then they just fell to FaZe, like 3-0 to FaZe, a team that obviously doesn't have anything together right now. They're playing on pretty much just knowledge that they've acquired over the years. And Space Station have been together for a long while here, and we thought they were kind of turn the tides of their team. We thought maybe they had been talking because they sounded a lot better in comms. What do you think about this Space Station squad against FaZe? Like, I know we didn't catch this on the B stream, but losing 3-0. What do they need to make another change before Orlando? Or do you think they stick to it and figure it out?
I think Space Station Gaming can find the same success that G1 had. Like, I think if you look at G1's roster and you look at Space Station Gaming's roster, you have 3 absolute gunners, absolute grinders who can stuff the stats. You have a veteran that can pop off at any given moment as well.
Yeah.
Space Station Gaming are built very similar to G1 and built for success. In their, for example, in pool play, they went toe-to-toe with G2. There was that one, that was the first game that I got to cast during the Super.
Yeah.
They were up 1-0 on Catalyst with literally 15 seconds left in the freaking game.
Yeah.
They were overslaying. And by the way, they were slaying out. They were overslaying.
Yep.
And G2 eventually cap a flag within the 15 seconds and cap it overtime to take game 1. Game number 2, SSG have the lead, I think, going to maybe like the 40 kill mark, I want to say. And G2 once again clutch it out where SSG had momentum. They had the strength in that matchup, and G2 ended up stealing out that game number 2. Then G2 ended up clutching out in game 3 in a pretty dominant fashion. I think it was an oddball, and that's G2 is one of their best game types, and SSG ended up losing that one out. Then after that, it's almost like they woke up. They ended up 3-0ing both Anime Demons or Lions and Pioneers. So I was, they came out red hot, and then like you said, finally they ended up running into FaZe, which if you lose to Renegade, Spartan, Falcon, and Snipe Down,
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that.
I'm not either.
Let's take their placing out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was calling them a God Squad back in June.
Yep.
If names could win tournaments, like that team is winning all day, every day.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
The fact that they lost to those guys, I'm not upset about that. Like I'm more upset that you didn't take a game off of G2 in pool play, because you can't like, at one point there was 2 players. It was Ace and I want to say it was Ace and Suppressed. I want to say at one point they had almost 50 kills between the 2 of them, and the opposing team had 52 as a unit.
Yeah.
They were literally outslaying the opposition by themselves and had 1 cap. If I'm gonna be mad at anything, it's not that you lost the FaZe, it's the fact that you didn't take a freaking game off of G2 when you were looking like the favorites in the first 2 games. That's what I'm mad about.
Right.
Because if you look right after that, you 3-0 the rest. If you take 2 games off of G2, even if you lose that, I think map count goes, and you end up winning your pools.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if anything, I'm mad at that because they started off the day very up and down,
Right.
and finished off so strong, and it's really sad to see, because I was watching, I was like, whoa, this is the SSG that we want to see.
Right.
This SSG that are dangerous SSG that we know them to be, and it obviously didn't work out for them.
And that's a good point you bring up, and I kind of want to talk about that just a bit. And that is the fact that when you're a team like that who's got Collect and Talonal on there, and then Suppressed and Ace, and then you have your non-slayers in Suppressed and Ace. They are slayers in a sense, but opposite of the main slayers who are Collect and Talonal, if they're doing all the slays, Collect and Talonal have to be a hybrid at that point, right? They have to be able to have that objective efficiency to kind of turn off the slay machine and start maybe focusing a little bit more on objective in that sense. If I have my 2 teammates, if Ace and Suppressor are on my team and they're popping off and I'm the main slayer, I'm not going to try and slay with them. I'm going to, there's got to be a recognition of in-game, I guess momentum is the right word, but just in the way the game is going, there's got to be some sort of a change there depending on how the game is running. For instance, I've talked about this a lot too. You have a player that's popping off with the shock rifle or the snipe or something. You've got to drop that to your teammate. Like if he's popping off, you got to kind of feed that pop off. The same with someone who's slaying, like an Ace and Suppressed. Feed that pop off and take that objective time or that objective off their shoulders and focus a little more on that. And that kind of hybrid playstyle has to come through. And I think Talonal was doing that a little bit in that series, but yeah, like you said, I mean, having that many slays and no objective is rough. I mean, that just shows that they have the ability to slay, but their objective efficiency once again is a big problem. But yeah, let's go back to the pool real quick. The pools real quick and talk about once again. Like I said, pool B, not really too much to focus on there. I think the Cloud9 played really, really well. And yes, I agree, not being able to stop a G1 who's on fire, especially with, they just played phenomenal. I believe the last game type was Slayer Catalyst, and I feel like Catalyst is G1's best map ever. Like just the way they played on Catalyst all weekend was so phenomenal. And of course, Eli says that Boo Boo is one of the best skewer players in the game, so that map pretty much ties it up for him. In terms of FaZe, in my opinion, I feel like once again we're seeing a FaZe clan that has started the tournament very slow and ended not very strong, ended much stronger than they started. And that to me, once again, states that this team is improving in a tournament setting, which to me says that once we get to Orlando, they've got a month and a half to work out the kinks. Orlando is going to be a good tournament. I'm very surprised they got top 8. I know you're sitting there saying, okay, look at the players on the squad. Individually, these players are disgusting. But if you saw them at the very beginning of the tournament, they did not look very strong. And then all of a sudden, at the last day, even against United, I think they played pretty good. Like, those games were pretty close against United. They could have won that series if they tied up a couple loose ends. But for me, that's FaZe. Yep. I think they've got a bright future, of course. I've been saying this for a while now. By Orlando, do they place top 3? Maybe top 4, top 6? It depends. It all depends. I really... we need Halo Data Hive, please. All right, I need to be able to keep up with these scrims. I don't know what we need to do to make that happen, but please. That's our community spotlight this week. Halo Data Hive, please come back. All right, we really miss you. I miss you personally, but I really want to kind of see. Go ahead.
If I could just squeeze in one more thing about FaZe, I apologize.
Please do.
So, well, we want to see FaZe almost pull like, a Saiyan back in Dragon Ball Z where they would get stronger during battle.
Right, right.
When every battle they would go to would make them stronger. They would like level up because they always have to push their limits. That's what we want to see.
Right.
But the FaZe roster we know, like you said top 8. I think you said top 8 or top 6. Like the FaZe roster we know are good enough to bully everybody into getting top 4. If they're playing at their potential, like I don't even care if the team has a focus or not, or what roles. The team can play bully ball to top 6 and then coordinate just a little bit to top 4 because that's how good they are. My problem with FaZe Clan is not that everybody's like, oh, they need an objective player, they needed the roles and this, that, there. My problem with FaZe Clan is that they didn't look good. The teams were literally not losing pivotals against them. Like 1v1s, 2v2s. It wasn't a matter of FaZe running over everybody that nobody's touching the ball. It was the fact that FaZe were going 2 or 3 down, getting punished off the spawn, and we're like, whoa, this is what FaZe are supposed to be doing to others. Like you're the bullies in here.
Right.
So, I just think lack of game plan is also what was going in, and like you said, they're going to go into scrims, they're going to figure it out, and they're going to be better. But in my opinion, I know you said top 8, top 6,
top 4, top 6 is what my
okay. Yep. In my opinion, I'm not gonna be happy with top 6.
Okay,
I'm sorry. I think top 6 is the bare minimum. Top 8 is a fail. It's a failed tournament. And top 6 is the bare minimum. The only way I'm happy is if my FaZe stock is going up because I invested, by the way, at a 52-week high right now. And the only way that's going up is they get top 4 better.
I'm gonna be
go on.
No, I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of want to touch on that a little bit, and that is the fact that all 4 of these players are
bullies.
They're bullies, but okay. So it's one thing to, and I'm not saying that I'm not giving anything against G1 or pushing anything against G1 or anybody that played online in this tournament. Blah blah blah. There is a different environment in Orlando, and that environment brings a lot of factors, like a lot of factors. Okay, being on that main stage, having that big crowd, hearing them through your headphone, like there's a lot of different factors that I think when it comes to FaZe, a lot of variables, a lot of intangibles that when it comes to FaZe, they've got that down. Like you put all 4 of those guys on a main stage, that's it. Like I don't doubt any of them are going to perform. I think every single one of them will perform at the highest level possible. So I'm not worried about that, and that's where I think You're correct. I think top 4 is good for them at this event, but I want to see how they progress from the Super to, let's say, a week before Orlando, and see kind of how things have changed potentially. Things, I think one of the big things for them is their confidence. It's not there, and maybe it comes down to losing these pivotals, but they're not playing aggressive. Like, you think of all 4 of those players, they run at you like KCP and just slay, like completely slay. They're playing back. They're playing like Snipedown likes that back type of play, I think. I think they need to play aggressive. I think they need to be aggressive on pushes and be confident on pushes. And I think that's a mentality that can change like this, like in a split second. And I think they change that. But I mean, we'll see. It's definitely something I want to continue to watch. I think I'm very, very excited about FaZe. But let's move over to Pool C. Give me 1 second. Let me get this going here. I lost my tab. But let's move over to Pool C, Tony. So you got Optic, G1, Fnatic, and Forbidden Fruit. What do you think about how these teams performed? Let's start with Optic. Obviously they won.
Well,
what do you think?
Optic played terrible all tournament.
Well,
it was abysmal.
Let me
drop. I'm sorry. Go on.
No, I was gonna say let me try to challenge you a little bit. Do you think
Okay.
Optic played the best they could play in this Super period? Do you think that they did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't matter what I think.
Right.
I mean, the numbers tell you.
Of course.
You're undefeated all through pools. You drop what, one map?
I think one
that
map the
entire
entire
tournament?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think they played well as well. Yeah.
Who the hell cares what Tony thinks at that point? It's what the
It's all about the
numbers say.
statistics. Yeah, I agree.
G1 3-0ing Fnatic, Forbidden Fruit getting 3-0'd by Optic. Optic Gaming 3-0ing G1. Forbidden Fruit 3-1 over Fnatic. G1 3-1 over Forbidden Fruit. And then finally Optic 3-0 over Fnatic. So that puts Optic at 3-0 in first place. G1 in second place with 2-1. Forbidden Fruit 1-2 in third place, and then Fnatic 0-3 in last place. So right off the rip, G1 weren't able to go toe to toe with Optic in the pools. They got 3-0 and swept. Optic, a phenomenal team. Optic, they're coordinated, they're strong. They have leadership. They have fundamentals. They play damn near the perfect team. Optic Gaming do exactly what G1 do, just better. Like G1 remind me of like a mini Optic. Like you give them some time, maybe they'll be as good as Optic or beating them. Because G1 again, when you look at Optic, you look at G1 fundamentals. Yeah, G1 got it. Objective efficiency, they got it. Leadership, they got it. Coordination, they got it. The G1 do what Optic do. It's just Optic does it a little bit better.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Forbidden Fruit with Envor, Fnatic dropping Envor, and then you have Forbidden Fruit coming in and getting revenge and able to beat out Fnatic and not just beat them. I mean, 3-1. This didn't even go to game 5.
Yeah.
3-1 in favor of Forbidden Fruit. Tony Two-Turn, obviously formerly of G1, by the way, wasn't able to get his revenge there, but still, great job for Forbidden Fruit. And I'm gonna be that guy, dude. I like Envor and Tony Two-Turn together. I don't know where they go. You know, and then they might have different options and what. I'm sure they have many options, good, bad, left, and right. Envor might be thinking about teaming with me for next event. I don't know. I'm sure they have. What I'm saying, they have options, but I'm actually hoping those options include Envor and Tony Two-Turn, because that might be a little duo, a little something. I'm not sure, but maybe they can stick together. Meanwhile, Fnatic, you got to figure it out, Tim.
They don't have any time.
Fnatic got to figure it out.
Yeah.
You're a partnered organization. You're 4 very talented players. You know, and the reason why I'm tough on certain teams like the KCPs and Fanatics, because I grew up with these boys.
Right.
Like they got their run towards late way Halo 5. I got my commentative run Halo 5. Like
right.
I want to be casting main stage Fnatic, you know, in a 50-49 where they win.
Right.
Because I feel like I grew up with them. I feel like we got into this era together. Fnatic got to figure it out, man. I don't know. I'll let you take the floor. I'm sorry.
What do they do? I mean, what do they do to figure it out? Like they, you know, I thought losing Envor was a big hit as well, And, you know, it's nothing against Rami. I think Rami's a phenomenal player. He's been all over. He's been on different teams. He hasn't found one that's really fit him. But what do they do? Like, do they start over? Do they keep one player? Do they keep two players and try to find, you know, two players that are free agents? It's tough, man. You don't have a lot of time at this point. You've literally got Orlando in a month and a half, and you've got Worlds right after. Fnatic is an organization. They are huge. They are huge, okay? They're so big, they need to make a Twitter just for Halo because they're so big that they didn't want to put the Halo stuff on their main Twitter. They're a ginormous organization, and I'm glad they're involved, but where did they, like, you can't have them outside of the top 8, dude, like, consistently. Like, you can't have them at the bottom of Pool C. These guys got to find out what's going on. Maybe they need more film review. Who's the coach of Fnatic, by the way? Do you know by any chance?
It was so you know, going back when they were assigned as a business,
right?
The coach was McRin.
Okay.
But Fnatic had already signed Coach Strobe, who's a phenomenal coach, by the way.
Okay.
So when Fnatic signed that roster, Strobe ended up taking over as the coach.
All right, so like Strobe's got to come together with management and maybe with the team and figure out what's going on here. This has got to be one of those talks again we got to have. Like, very important, especially before Orlando. That's not a placing you want. They've got to fight through now to try and secure a pool play spot. They're not going to get one. They're not going to get one actually because the pool play spots are already secured and you're going to have to play in Orlando for that pool play spot. So they've got to go through a grueling passion pit, which is tough. So they've got to get things together. I 100% agree. One thing I want to say about G1, just touch on what you said. Watching their gameplay, one of the things that I saw about them that they did so well, and this was like a slew of like 2 or 3 plays in a row where I was mind blown. Their ability, okay, it's not even the bait and switch game. This is like bait and switch advanced, all right? Their ability to, let's say they're in a 2v3, right? Their ability to hold an angle on one player together and like focus fire one player, but also block the angle from the other two for so very long. And then they just switch targets to the second one. Then they just switch again to the third one. And all the while keeping themselves in a position where they're blocked off. And you might think, yeah, that's kind of simple. Not in a freaking tournament against some of the best teams in the game. Like, it is tough to block an angle off one, focus on the same guy. Like, it is tough to do that. And these guys do that so well. I mean, it is incredible. You got to watch back some of that gameplay and just think about what I'm saying when you're watching it and just watch. It's literally poetry in motion. It's beautiful. The way they do that. They did it against Cloud9. Some of the Cloud9 matches in the grand finals were very close, by the way. There were some, like, 2 or, like, I say this all the time, but 2 or 3 mishaps that which would have changed some of those games. But again, they look phenomenal, and with their practice regimen, with these guys, I don't know if you watched. There was a tweet where they're showing like the reaction light bulbs, you know, where you push them when the light comes up. They're doing like so much stuff that like an NFL team would do, and I'm sure that's because of their NFL owner or the guy that was part of the NFL, the owner, kind of bringing all that in.
Carl.
Yep, I'm sure it's because of him. Because honestly, all that stuff is so very important to exercise with the game of Halo, and they're utilizing all that. They've got a doctor on staff. They're stretching. They're doing like the pressurized leg thing, like the squeezing your legs or whatever. There's so many things they're doing that are like I think is so important outside of the game of Halo, and I know there's no other team doing that. Oh, there's maybe a couple other teams doing that. Like I would say, like maybe the Sentinels or Cloud9, whatever those type of orgs, but it's crazy to see. They're very committed, and it's incredible. I think they go really far. The problem for me is Boo Boo on LAN, is he going to be able to collect everyone and kind of relax everyone? That environment is so much different, dude. I don't care who wants to downplay it. Trust me, I've been in the environment. It's extremely different than just playing from home or playing from a facility where you're comfortable. When you have a crowd, the lights are on. You hear everything. It's very different. Some people thrive. Like I said, FaZe. I think everyone on FaZe will thrive in that situation, but I think G1 will have to see. And if they're prepared, like I say they are outside of the game, I think they'll be okay. But moving on. Yep. The very last pool, Pool D. We got G2, Esports, Space Station Gaming, Lions, and Pioneers. G2 going 2-1, Space Station going 2-1. These teams are really interesting to me because Both of them started off very slow in the tournament, and then all of a sudden, by the end, just kicked it up a notch. Both tied there. G2 had the map count, so they were first. And then, of course, Lions and Pioneers. Pioneers, can't say too much about them. Unfortunately, we just found out, I believe it was yesterday. I don't know if we have a statement yet, but if we do, we can read it on stream.
A video.
Oh, it's a video.
It's a 6-minute long video.
Oh,
sorry.
yeah, we won't watch it then. You guys can go watch it if you want on the KCP channel, but I'm sure I already know what it says. But KCP is now out of Halo, which is very sad. They've been in Halo. Tony, I think this is more sad for you than it is for me. You've been following these guys for a long time, and especially KCP. What are your thoughts on them leaving Halo Infinite?
Yeah, it's really sad to see. I think the Pioneers went out on a limb to sign a group of young kids, and we seldom watch them become men in front of our eyes. Yeah. And Pioneers were investing money into the scene way before most of the other partner teams did, in salarying their players, and then even when the meta, if you will, or the market went up as far as pricing wise, you have all the other orgs came with Halo Infinite. Pioneers even matched that with giving them raises to compete in the market. They activated a whole city in Kansas City, one that we probably would never see before, with partnering with a major sport in the Kansas City Royals was incredible. They that hometown crowd was amazing. Like I said, I grew up with these dudes. Same as Fnatic. I was cast at esports arena tournaments. It was me and Shyway every single I think back then it was every single Sunday. It was Microsoft Sundays every Sunday. Me and Shyway casting up.
That's awesome.
And it was always the Pioneers, up there in top 2, top 3, if not winning most of the time. I think they won like the first 9 they won, which was crazy. It's sad to see the Pioneers are going to be missed, and hopefully this is a see you later as opposed to a goodbye, because maybe if Halo's able to hit some of the marks that we know it's going to do, maybe we see some of these orgs come back, such as Pioneers and Torrent, Xset, and all the rest of them. They say, you know what, it's worth investing our money in now, because Halo is thriving, both on the competitive side and even on the social side. So, but yeah, it was really tough to see Pioneers leave the organization, or leave the league. Excuse me. I
agree. I think that I didn't watch the video, so I have no insight in terms of that. But I'm just gonna guess here. They did mention it had nothing to do with the fact that they got denied partnership, which I disagree with. I don't know why they said that. I think it's a big part of why. Those skins bring a lot of funds to the team. Like they rely on that to be lucrative, for this to be a lucrative kind of force that they can continue to work with. And when you're not partnered, you lose out on all that support. And of course, it's very jarring. I don't know on the HCS side of things why they made that decision. I don't know who the new orgs are. I'm sure we'll find out at the beginning of next season. But I thought Pioneers did a lot for the scene. And like I said before, before Halo 5 and of course into Halo Infinite. And KC was the best event I've ever been to. The crowd there was phenomenal. The passion in those people, phenomenal. I believe the governor even made one of the days a holiday or something for the
Pioneers Day. It was their third year of being an organization. It's now Pioneers Day. I believe it was July 6th. I want to say. I could be wrong about that.
I mean, that's crazy to me. Like, it's a very involved organization. But again, I don't. A lot of people are kind of like hating on HCS or hating on Tashi or hating on the people that run that and make those decisions. And you can't really do that when you don't have all the information. There's information out there that I'm sure I don't even know. I'm sure there's reasons behind why they're doing what they're doing. And we've just kind of got to support them in that. Like I said, I don't know who they're bringing in as a new org, but not a lot of teams kind of left. A couple of people are like saying 100 Thieves, and that's kind of a shot in the dark. I don't know if 100 Thieves comes to Halo. But you made a very good point that this game needs to be kind of profitable. And right now, we're all suffering. Right now, we're all kind of, at a point where we're waiting for Halo to start to be on the rise and start to have that graph up, and it's going to be a little while. I think we're the worst we'll ever be right now. But that being said, HCS has done so much for Halo. Like, HCS has literally been the CPR for Halo. It's kept Halo alive. It's been the breathing tube for this game. The reason I still love Halo is because of HCS, because of all these teams competing. So we'll see. I did love Pioneers as well. We'll see if they come back, and hopefully they do, and hopefully other orgs do as well. But I do want to now really quickly take a look at the brackets, Tony. We'll look at the, of course, the winners bracket real quick first. And then after this, if we have a little bit of time, maybe we'll go over some, this is pretty early, but maybe some loose Orlando predictions, maybe. I think that'd be kind of fun if we have time. I'm not sure if we will, but let's look at the winners bracket real quick. Quarterfinal, we got Sentinels versus Oxygen. They came out swinging. I believe this was Saturday. Was this Saturday here? I believe this was Saturday, correct? 3-0 against Oxygen. G2 losing to G1. That was the G-Force, I think someone called it when we were casting.
G3.
G3. And then Optic 3-0 Space Station, and then Cloud9 United. Any matches in this quarterfinal that you found very interesting to watch? You know, whether it showed up on the screen. I think the big one for me is at the end there, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, 2 right off the rip, with how well G2 were looking, them getting 3-1 by G1. I think G2 and G1 were kind of like the stories of pool play.
Agreed. Yeah.
Especially with G2 bringing in Barcode, who's, whew, oh man, give me some of Barcode. God bless.
Right?
Give me some of Barcode, but yeah, that was really exciting to watch. But then G1 getting the best of them, and then obviously Cloud9 versus United going all the way to a game 5. I mean, that was great. That was great. Cloud9 almost getting knocked down now, and I'm happy for United as well, because a lot of people were questioning where United would be after picking up Suspector and Manny. And they showed, you know, with this event, obviously not having their best event, not getting, you know, the top 4, top 3 that you would, you know, that they wanted to, but I will still say, still showing that they are dangerous and they're going to command respect no matter where they end up, no matter what pool, no matter what bracket. It's not going to be easy taking down United, even taking Cloud9 to a game 5.
What do you think about Cloud9? I think I'm going to kind of give you my points on it. So I think that with Bound on the squad, here's the thing, okay? So we saw Renegade on FaZe, looked very uncomfortable, had a lot of negative games where, you know, KDA is not the most important stat, of course. I understand, I get all this, but had a rough tournament in my opinion. That's not the Renegade we're used to seeing, at least at the latter stages of the tournament. I feel like Cloud9 with Renegade really were like his support bra, right? I know it's a weird way of saying it. But like allowing him to slay out as much as he could and making him shine as a player on that squad. And the reason I bring that up is because with Bound, there were moments of that in this event. There were moments where Bound was really shining, like some games, and he was looking like he was in Renegade's shoes. You know, the team was, you know, playing around him. He was playing kind of freely, and in my thought, maybe he's played a little bit inconsistent this tournament. But what are your thoughts on Bound and Cloud9? What are your thoughts on, you know, him obviously being added to the squad over in place of Renegade? Do you think that they come to a point where they were with Renegade, where they're a, you know, I believe Cloud9 won 3 times in a row, right, or 2 times in a row on LAN? Like, do they get to that point again? Do they get to be that dominant force with Bound?
As much as I hate to say it, I truly don't know. First of all, I'm wearing a Cloud9 shirt right now. I just noticed that.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, Cloud9 went undefeated in pools.
Mm-hmm.
They went through winners bracket, ended up losing to Optic Gaming, who obviously won the tournament.
Right.
They go through the losers bracket and they beat out G2. So G2 are legitimate top 6 team, I would say. You know, I think G2 are going to consistently contend for top 6. Will they land every tournament? Maybe they land top 8 a few times, but G2 legitimately contending for top 6.
Right.
I think you would agree with that, right?
Yes, I would agree with that.
They beat out G2.
Right.
So, you know, so you lose to Optic Gaming, won the tournament, arguably the #1 team in the world right now. you beat out G, so you lose to number 1, so you're not number 1, obviously. So now we're trying to find out where you're at from there. You beat out G2, who are legitimately a top 6 team, or at a minimum walking in top 8 at this point, because I think they're that good with barcode.
I do too.
You're above top 8. So you're in between. So as of right now, you're in between 2 and 6, 2 and 4. You end up losing to G1 in a game 5, by the way.
Right.
Game 5, you lose to G1, who got second place, who legitimately were playing like the second best team in the league. I don't care how you feel about G1.
No, they were definitely.
You can't argue the fact that during the tournament they played like the number 2 team in the tournament. Would you agree with that?
100% agree with you. Yep.
So at that point, you're not 1, you're not 2, you're in between 3, and I would say 6. And because you beat G2, I'm gonna say you're in between 3 and 4, which is where I want to see Cloud9.
I don't.
Look, I mean, I went all the way around, and I want to see Cloud9 consistently top 3, at worst top 4, and from what I saw, that's what it looks like they're at right now.
Do they need time? Do they need time? Maybe is that what it is? Is this?
I think they're already there.
Do you, think there are?
I mean, to me, I think again. You lost out to Optic number 1.
I get that.
You lost out to G2 number 2 in game 5. You beat out, I'm sorry, G1. You beat out G2. I think as of right now, you are legitimately top 3, top 4. And I think that's where Cloud9 needs to be. Now, if your expectations are for them to win back-to-back LAN championships, at that point, maybe you have different expectations than I do.
I gotta stop you there, though. It's not about my expectations. For me,
I was in general, but
I understand what you're saying. No,
I
understand, but it's not about your expectations or mine or even the fans' expectations. We're talking about like one of the number 1 orgs in the world right now in esports. Period. They don't want a top 4. They don't want a top 3.
G2 don't want top 4 either.
Cloud9 want to win.
They're not gonna win.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
G2 don't want top. Fnatic don't want top 4 either.
But to me,
the Fnatic, everybody wants to win tournaments. But being realistic.
I get it, but Cloud9 are not happy with their performance here. They're not going home saying, we're top 4. They're going home saying like, what's wrong?
They shouldn't be.
What's wrong with our game? Why did we lose to G1 in a game 5? Why did we like play on deep? Why do we play so scared on Catalyst red flag and just allow G1 to push in freely with Boo Boo getting a perfect play, by the way, with spikes, completely taking everyone to half shields, and then Predevinator with the double repulse to kill 2 and win the game. Like, how do we let that happen if we're Cloud9? Cloud9 is the clutch slayer team. Cloud9 wins those every time. Why didn't they win here? That's my question. I don't look at Cloud9 and say, top 4 is cool. No, if I'm looking at Cloud9, I'm saying contender for top 2 100% of the time. Like, no doubt in my mind. And right now, with Bound, I feel like they're not comfortable yet. Something's missing there. It's either an inconsistency in someone. I understand what you're saying about them playing these different. I understand they took G1 to a game 5. I understand that 3-1 G2 who look really strong with barcode, but we're talking about G2 and G1 against Cloud9. Like, have we forgotten who Cloud9 was with Renegade on the squad? Like,
everybody got better though. I mean, I'm saying like. To me, it's not a Bound problem. Everybody got freaking better.
Everyone got.
Sentinels hit God form in Kansas City. Optic since Anaheim has upgraded immensely with Formal, especially online. G1 seemingly comes out of nowhere, and you still have to contend with the likes of FaZe and other squads.
Cloud9 is said to be the most practiced team in this tournament. Like, that is what people said. They practice the most out of every single team in this tournament. I mean, G1 probably contended with them in that sense, but out of like Cloud9, Optic, and Sentinels,
Renegade.
That's the point I'm making though. Does Bound ever replace him? And still, do they ever place top 1, top 2 with Bound? That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm saying. And I know it's hard.
If you're asking me if Bound is Renegade,
I know he's not Renegade. But
I will agree with you. I don't think Bound is Renegade, but I will say that with Cloud9, Bound fits well. Okay. And I think everybody else has stepped up too. Like,
I agree with that, by the way. I do agree with your statement there.
Yeah, yes. I think Eco stepped up as an amazing slayer, like an underrated slayer. If you're asking me if Cloud9 are as good with Bound as they were with Renegade, I can't definitively say yes.
Okay.
Because I really can't.
I'm asking the tough.
some,
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, listen, with some time, hopefully they can get there. But as of right now, I can't definitively say yes. If that's the bar we're setting,
yes, that's the bar.
Then Cloud9 are going to consistently underperform, and that bar is going to be so hard. That's what I'm saying. It's all about your expectations. Like
I get it.
As a realistic fan, if I'm the player, my expectations are winning. But
Absolutely.
as a realistic fan,
right.
I'm looking at Cloud9 and I'm looking at the rest of the league, and I'm saying if they get top 3, top 4, that's not bad.
I think that's everybody. Look at the predictions. Everyone had him 4th or 3rd or whatever it was, right?
So that to me is as a fan, what I would like to think is realistic. I don't think that's bad. But if you're asking, like you said, from the org standpoint, from the player standpoint, they're only going to be happy with winning.
Of course,
so even if they're second place, they're going to be upset.
I mean, of course. Is what I'm saying is like, no longer do I see Cloud9 and say, uh-oh, like this is going to be a good match. No longer do I say that against Optic. No longer do I even say that against Sentinels. I just don't say that anymore with this squad. And I don't know what it is. And maybe they do need time, but I mean, Worlds is coming up. And at the end of the day, Tony, I think we're going to see a different Cloud9 on LAN. I mean, Bound has proven to step up. Like, Raleigh was his first event. The kid played phenomenal, by the way, on FaZe. I think he shows up on LAN just fine. And I think that this team comes together on LAN. But, I mean...
Can I just counter with one thing? I'm going to ask you if this matters to you.
Please do, yeah.
Sentinels got swept with G1. Cloud9 took G1 to game 5. And one God play away from them winning.
Okay, but we're talking...
You just said you you don't like the Cloud9 Sentinels matchup.
Yep. Hold on.
But if A squared plus B squared is C squared, does that matter at all to you? Or no,
but it's not. But that equation you just said does not count, because we're talking about G1 coming off a game 5 win against the best team in the world, being said one of the best teams in the world. They're gonna have that momentum and strength to go into this winners bracket and into the finals against Sentinels. They're gonna look disgusting.
I'll agree to. I mean, I agree with the fact that momentum is strong, but
yeah, I think
is it that strong to sweep Sentinels?
So. Absolutely,
I'll agree to disagree.
Absolutely. I mean, you're saying you're going from 3-0ing United. Then, which people didn't think was going to be that they thought it was going to be a close match, and then you're against Cloud9. You take it and you win a game 5 in such a crazy fashion. We could, like, one day I want to break down that play with you, Tony. It was disgusting. They literally, Booba was on spikes, threw spikes at 2 players that were holding on the P side, I believe it was, and then the push. It was the play was disgusting. So anyway, you come off of that win. Yes, yeah. I think you literally skyrocket. I think if they played Optic here, I think it would have been an even better series for them if they played Optic in the winners finals. Because I'm sorry, the losers finals. Because of the fact that, in my opinion, those games against Optic in the grand finals were pretty close. Like, some of them, like I said, 2 plays out and they would have taken a round. Obviously, Optic is disgusting and we're able to turn things around, but. Yeah,
I will agree. I will agree. I will agree to springboard.
Okay,
but I will agree. It's a springboard. But you're talking about like an octane jump pad. You're talking about like a grapple. Like I agree. Winning that game 5 will springboard you into going to game 1 versus Sentinels, and you're coming out hot. And maybe you take out game number 1 with that momentum. But they also swept Sentinels. And
I do agree. Yes.
And
you can't put that all on momentum. You can't put that all on momentum. I agree with you. I want to make that clear.
Okay.
So we're kind of on the same page. I agree that you can't put that all on momentum.
I said it's gonna be a great match. I'm telling you, it sounds like you don't think so, but we gonna watch the scrim together. we gonna watch the scrim together. I really think Cloud9 and Sentinels are gonna be a phenomenal match. I think Optic are the number 1 squad right now
on LAN 2. Do you think this all? I know you hate the online thing, but we got to talk about it. Do you think on LAN they do the same thing?
I think they've done enough to earn the favorites right now.
Okay.
And I think Cloud9 and Sentinels are going to be battling it out. And it's hard for me to put G1 in that stratosphere right now.
It's difficult, right?
Because again, I don't want to be the victim of recency bias.
Right.
But I will say that if G1 continue the way they're playing, you have a 3-way deadlock for who's the second best team in the league right now.
Very interesting.
Like I legitimately feel that way. That's why I'm still on the Cloud9 hype train, because I think they're gonna go toe to toe with Sentinels. Okay. And now again, you may disagree, and you have the right to disagree.
Yeah, of course.
We'll see what happens when they start scrimming, because that will tell us more when those scrims come, when that Pro Series comes out, leading up to Orlando.
Okay. Well said. I agree. I'm glad we had this little discourse. We don't have that often, and today's show was not. Today's show we did not prepare for. We just
don't you be disrespecting Cloud9
because we had a lot to go over, and I think it turned out to be great. So I do want to touch on one question from the chat that I was able to kind of squeak in my vision here, and I think we talked about it a little bit earlier, but I just want to talk about it again. G1, do you think they perform like this in a LAN environment against these top teams? Do you think that this semifinal in the elimination bracket goes to a game 5 on LAN?
It's just so soon.
It is very soon, and I, if you think about, KC, for instance, I believe it was, they got breakout team, the Astro breakout team award. Tony Two-Turn got the breakout player award. So they obviously looked really good at KC with Tony. Now they've got a veteran on the squad with Boo Boo, and now they've got.
The question again.
So the question is, do you think G1 will perform on LAN the way they did in the Super?
Perform the way they did.
I don't. Let me read it exactly here.
Okay.
Let me see here. I saw it earlier, so I'm probably gonna miss it. Let's see. Do you guys think G1 will show up this well on LAN? So pretty much what I said, yes.
Okay. So if the question is, will they look as good as they looked right now on LAN, my answer is yes. The reason being is that this is not a fluke. We see them look this good in scrims versus Sentinels, Optic, Cloud9, the Elite 3, even in FaZe as well. We've seen them look this well in other online tournaments as well, one-off tournaments here, where I believe they even beat out FaZe in the JJ events tournament. I want to say, like they've this is not a fluke. They've been looking this good so far, and the look of them is based on fundamentals, based on teamwork, based on hard work, dedication, and grinding. This is not just 4 players that are just like out there, individually pivoting everybody in sight and just using their connection to their advantage. To me, it's about that teamwork that's been on top. So if your question is, will they look this good on LAN? Yes. If your question is, will they get second place again?
You can't answer that. It's too much time. It's too much time in between, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, if you're asking me to put money on them getting second place or the field getting second place, give me the field, because there's a lot of amazing teams. You got Cloud9, Optic, Sentinels, you got FaZe, you got United. Like if you're telling me to put money on G1 getting second place or the field, give me the field. Okay, sure. Yeah. But if the question is, will that dedication, will that teamwork, with those fundamentals, those are stuff that is not just one online tournament. That's hard work. That's Agreed. Going into the film review. That is grinding. That is putting in the work and having the mindset for playing for your team as opposed to yourself. And that translates no matter where you go. So I'm copping out on the question by being very literal with how the question was worded.
So I want to. I was hoping I could argue with you on this, but I cannot. You're absolutely right. I think that they. I personally don't think they get second again, but I do think that they perform on LAN. I think this is a solidified top 6 squad now, G1. I think they're solidified top 6 going into Orlando, and that's great, because I mean, you would look at I mean, you're gonna disagree. You're gonna say top 4, but I'm
gonna say top 6. Legitimately contending for top 4, not just lucky, legitimately contending for top 4, and then a stretch goal of top 3. I think I'm going to say that. Like, walking into the tournament, I think they're guaranteed top 6. They walk in top 6, in my opinion. Go on. I'm sorry.
No, so for me, it's going to come down to, I agree with all the outside, all the intangibles, the film review, the hard work, the dedication. Like, I agree with all of that. I think that this team is this is the one team I see still practicing more than every team in the HCS. Even before Orlando, even before Worlds, they're going to put the time in. They've got that organized regiment, and I think it's going to be very beneficial for them in the long run. So look for G1. Look for G1. Tony, do you have any closing thoughts before we close this out here?
The only thing I ask is, I asked the chat to ask their questions now.
Okay.
Is it okay if we do what we did last week, where
Absolutely.
we go? Okay, cool. Again, guys, if you guys are watching from the Spotify, the YouTube, if you guys want to ask your questions live and be a part of this part of the discussion, make sure you guys are live here. HCS the Source, twitch.tv/HCS Source, HCS SOURC. That was a hard word to spell. And make sure you guys are live so you can be a part of this discussion. But this part is going to be for the live crew only. I thought this was a great episode.
I loved it.
We had no plans whatsoever. We just went live.
Yeah.
I fumbled a little bit in the beginning. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know. I was moving some stuff around. I just set my camera up. I was going crazy.
It's all good.
But I think eventually we caught up, and I think we had a great show. And thank you guys so much for stopping by. For you guys watching on Spotify and YouTube, we love you. We love you the same. Don't worry. We would love you more if you were live on Twitch. Why watch both? Come live on Twitch, and then watch it on YouTube afterwards. You got time. The hell, you have time. Don't argue with me. And I stream every day. Twitch.tv/why not_B_casting 11 a.m. YouTube content. We do it all. My man Tim out here. He think he's somebody. Look at him. Look at him with a cheesy smile. God bless. I can't stand you. You think he's somebody now? You HCS commentator.
Oh, here we go.
Look at it. Oh God, it pissed me off.
Fight me, Tony. We're gonna play basketball, by the way. We'll have a special video maybe on HCS Source where Tony and I 1v1 in basketball, and I destroy him in front of everybody. It's gonna be great. But yes, guys, thank you everyone that watches on Spotify, listens on the YouTube, all our Spotify subscribers and followers, as well as our YouTube subscribers. I think we're almost at 200 subscribers on YouTube. Thank you guys very, very much. We'll be back next Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern. And if you're live in the chat, don't go anywhere. We're going to answer some of your questions.